Today, I want to talk about Easter egg rewards in Cold War Zombies. And I know this is something that we've talked about since like probably Black Ops 3 that the Easter egg rewards are underwhelming to say the very least. And they seem to, with time, to just get more and more underwhelming. At least if you think to Black Ops 3, you got a perkaholic after you complete the Easter egg and stuff like that. And then, Black Ops 4 happened and the game just constantly ended and you didn't get anything at all. And then now we have this game, which it's slightly better than Black Ops 4 because, the game still ends, which is cringe, but at least you get a calling card. I mean, I guess. And don't get me wrong, there's also the cutscene. The cutscene is also the main reward that you get for completing Easter eggs. That's probably been the main reward for a while now, probably since at least Black Ops 3. But the point here I'm trying to make is that you don't really get anything for doing Easter eggs. The only time we've ever had anything good is probably Infinite Warfare, which is, been a while. And not to mention, it wasn't even Treyarch that made that game. So the point I'm trying to make here is that we need better Easter egg rewards. Like, there's just no reward in doing Easter eggs. And at least during, as I mentioned, Infinite Warfare and Black Ops 3, that you would at least get like a perkaholic. That was cool. I mean, it gave you a reason to continue playing. If you didn't want to waste your perkaholic and then you just wanted to go for high rounds, you just do the Easter egg and then go your high rounds or something like that. And that's just not something that is even an option, especially now with Cold War, that it ends the game after every single Easter egg. So that's one thing they gotta fix right from the get-go before we get into any Easter egg rewards. And that is stop ending the game right after the Easter egg, for we could actually get rewards after we complete the Easter egg. Because to me, I think there are 3 different types of rewards we should get for completing an Easter egg. There should be directly after the Easter egg rewards, and then there should be cosmetic rewards that are calling cards, camos, Mastercrafts, or whatever there may be. We'll get into that later. And finally, there are I guess we could just call them the next game rewards, which I'll explain further in a little bit. But first off, let's talk about the post Easter egg reward. So this is still in that same game. And in the past, we saw that in Black Ops 3, for the best example, is that you would get a perkaholic, as we mentioned before, and as you guys probably know. Now, that probably wouldn't be too helpful in this game because you just buy your perks back anyways, especially if you're going for high rounds. You're probably going to be able to afford them, so that's not the biggest deal in the world. So I think all they have to do is just go over to Black Ops 1 or even Black Ops 2 or whichever one that you want to say, and then just take the perma perks upgrade, like just that thing that was perma perks, just bring that over here. That would be really cool if you just gave us perma perks after completing the Easter egg. I mean, they did it before in Moon and a couple other maps that I'm probably forgetting, but just do that again. That was cool that you gave them perma-perks for completing the Easter egg. And I think that should just be something that you do in this game. And on top of that is another thing they could do is just, if they want to, add more story stuff after doing Easter eggs, which is something that is pretty rare in Zombies for a while, or ever, to be honest, because the only time we ever got more story is in Zetsubo no Shima and also in Attack of the Radioactive Thing, for the people who know about that. But regardless, that is the only real times that we have ever got storyline after that. But it would be cool, in my opinion, to have stuff like that. Again, there's exclusive storyline stuff that you get only post Easter egg or something like that. Just have a little mini hunt after the main Easter egg. But even then, so I think that one cool thing, and one map that does this incredibly well is, again, Zetsubo no Shima, because it just does everything well for post Easter egg, I would say. But what they could do is give us a new playable area on the map after completing the Easter egg, because a lot of the times these Easter eggs, they'll give you a new area that you go to somewhere along during the Easter egg. For example, in Zetsubo no Shima, there's an underground area where you fight the boss. And it's really cool in Zetsubo no Shima because now that's a playable area that you could try to go for high rounds on. You could rather camp in the hallway or you could train down at the bottom. Either way, they're pretty cool places to go for high rounds, and just having access to these new areas just because you complete the Easter egg is absolutely huge. Now just imagine that with a map of like that we just most recently had with Outbreak's Easter egg. Imagine now you have access to the entire lower area of Ruka just because you complete the Easter egg. That'd be really cool. I mean, it wouldn't be the most useful thing in the world, if we're being completely honest, but it still would be cool to have an entire area that is now accessible to you. Maybe you see it down with the rockets gone or something like that. I know that would be a ton of work, but it'd still be cool nonetheless. But either way, just doing stuff like that would be great just for post Easter egg rewards. And I'm sure there's some other things you guys could probably think of that you could probably put in here, but those are the big ones that pop into my head. Give us permaperks, give us new areas of play, and just give us some unique things that you could only access or only have if you completed the main Easter egg. Now, these next two things aren't going to be as crazy, but I still think they would be very, very nice. And I want to talk about cosmetics first, because it's something that I feel like is not nearly as difficult to do compared to a lot of the other things that we've mentioned or are going to mention in this video. And currently we do actually get a little bit of cosmetics, if you want to call them that, but after you complete an Easter egg, you get a calling card, which is cool. It's fine, I just kind of wish they were animated. That'd be a little bit cooler to me, but you know what? You get the calling card. But to me, what I think they should do is actually just give us a Mastercraft weapon, like a weapon that looks sick. And you could only get this by completing the Easter egg. And I'm not talking about a blueprint here. Keep this in mind. I'm not talking about a blueprint that just looks a little weird. I'm talking about a Mastercraft. Like, if you guys know about the ICR Mastercraft that looks like a dragon, that thing, if we got something similar to that, it would just be so cool. Just to unlock something that looks cool without having to buy it first things first, and second things second, would actually show off that, hey, I've completed this Easter egg. And I think that would actually have a lot of people want to complete that Easter egg after that, just to have that Mastercraft. I mean, if people are going to be spending $20 on the Mastercraft, I'm sure these exact same people will be willing to spend a couple hours learning the Easter egg and completing it, right? So to me, I think adding cosmetics, and more specifically a Mastercraft weapon that you could only get by completing the Easter egg as a reward, would be insane, and one of the coolest things that they'd ever done for an Easter egg reward. Now, finally, the last one I want to talk about are kind of next game rewards, or maybe we call them permanent rewards. These are things you're going to have access to every single time you play the game after the first initial completion of the Easter egg. And I think the best way to describe how I would imagine this working is, let's say you completed the Firebase Z Easter egg. Well, now every time you go back to Firebase Z, you have some special rewards, and we could brainstorm a lot of different things what these could be, but just as examples, you could do things like maybe having power on immediately, or maybe that's a bit much, maybe pack punch on immediately, or maybe that one's also too much, but just things like that. Maybe making the doors cheaper, maybe also just making the things cost less salvage, whether it be armor, gun rarity, streaks, or equipment, just something like that. Or we have something that's actually really cool, and this is something that Infinite Warfare Zombies did, because Infinite Warfare Zombies is really cool. But on the map Shell and Shuffle, after completing the Easter egg the first time, you could actually go to the wall, and now there was this sword wonder weapon that you walk up to and buy for 10,000 points now that you've completed the Easter egg, because it's a reward for completing it before. And if they just do that with the Ray K and just make it somewhere on the map, there is a Ray K wall buy that costs 10k. You just walk up to that and buy that so you have access to it. Like, stuff like that I think would just be so cool for the game for so many different reasons. And I'm sure you guys could think of 100 different ideas of different permanent rewards you could have after that too, and you feel free to share them, but those are just some general ideas to throw out there of what they could do. And by doing stuff like this and having permanent rewards, I think it's just a win for everything, because it's going to have the people who don't complete Easter eggs want to complete the Easter eggs, because now if they complete the Easter egg, they know they're going to get some benefit off of doing it. They're going to be able to have an easier or better experience coming back to the map after you've completed the Easter egg. And also it's going to get people who have already completed the Easter egg wanting to complete it again, because they ran the map on vanilla, but now they're going to run the map again on this reward version of the map, or the Easter egg reward version of the map, whatever you want to call it. I think things like that just get people to replay. It's small rewards like that are the things that get people wanting to replay these Easter eggs. At least that's how I really felt, especially after Infinite Warfare. But of course, as I mentioned, there's a lot of different ways you could go about this that you could think of in terms of just permanent rewards and worrying about it not being too OP and also not too much and stuff like that. You'd always try to balance that out. But in the end, I still think there should be some permanent rewards for completing main Easter eggs. But I think that's going to wrap it up for everything we talked about here today. I mean, there was one thing I was thinking of talking about, and this was going to be, you know, rewards for completing all the Easter eggs in the game, like with the super Easter egg and stuff like that, but I just didn't feel like it's necessary in this video because it just feels like we're not at that point with this game currently, so I didn't really feel like it was worth mentioning. But it is something they should do. We should have a super Easter egg, and on top of having that super Easter egg, it should give us some crazy rewards, again, like Infinite Warfare zombies. But that's about it for me. If you guys did enjoy this video, I would appreciate it if you guys dropped a like, subscribe, bell, share, and all that great stuff. But I'm going to go, and I'll catch you guys next stream, video, or whatever the heck it may be, and laters, guys.